All right, so we are here with Mothers Illuminated. I'm Michelle McCartney, and we're here at the Co-work of Londonderry. If you're a mom looking for a great place to get some work done away from the house and crazy kid, definitely look at the Co-work of Londonderry at londonderry.cowork.com, and co-work is spelled C-O-W-E-R-C. They have office space, conference rooms, workshops for business owners, podcast rooms, and lots of great benefits for members. So we are here today with Kasia Weglarz, and if you've been following my show, you should know who she is by now. And I think this is the fourth show we've done now.
Yeah.
And today we're actually going to do a little bit of guided self-hypnosis, which will be really cool. So I'm going to do the hypnosis through her as a guide, and then everybody at home can kind of follow along and do the hypnosis as well. But before we get started, if you could kind of talk about like what self-hypnosis is and kind of how people can do that at home.
Sure. So self-hypnosis is virtually the same as guided hypnosis. You're just doing it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use a recording. You can record your voice. You can use a generic recording.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about suggestion and belief. So you should have a goal in mind. Like when you're meditating, you can basically you can do it a million ways. There's a million ways to meditate. You can, have gong sounds. You can do om sounds. You can follow your breath. You can count. You can have a mantra that you just say in your head. And sometimes the mantra will disappear and there's just nothing, and thoughts come and you pick up your mantra again. Million ways to do meditation, million ways to do self-hypnosis or self-hypnosis. So usually there's a goal, and it's all about suggestion. And there's kind of a caveat. If you have a deeply held belief, that's the opposite of the suggestion you want to give yourself, the suggestion probably won't work.
Okay.
So what that means is, like, I remember meeting this girl who, she didn't have like a huge weight problem, but she complained of her weight. And what she told, she knew as I was talking about doing hypnotherapy, and she said, when I listen to those generic weight hypnosis tapes and recordings, I gain weight. So that was a sure sign that she had a deeply held belief about that weight. And usually extra weight is to protect you in some way. It's not that you're just a slob and you eat too much. There's always a reason. There is a reason for everything. So she had a deeply held belief that that extra weight was protecting her for some reason. That's subconscious, totally subconscious.
Yeah.
So she doesn't necessarily know. So like she could use me or she could do it herself. Kind of, you have to get into a relaxed state so your brain waves slow down and you get in touch with the subconscious mind. Once you get into alpha, which is, we're at beta right now, our brain waves are going fast, we're talking, we've got visual information coming in. You have to close your eyes and get relaxed, and then you're down into alpha. And an even slower one is theta. That's kind of like, they call that like the healing zone of brainwave. So she would have to find out, why is it? And the question would be, why am I holding on to this weight? And scenes or memories would come to her mind. So the subconscious mind is all about images and memories and feeling. It's the feeling mind. So you can't logically figure out why you're having a problem, whatever this problem is. So she had found that this suggestion, auto-suggestion or suggestion of, oh, I'm my perfect weight, the mind was like, no. We can't do that. This is keeping us safe. And it was a powerful reason. So weight can be so many different things. Weight, it is, the mind thinks it is protection from like bullying, from abuse of some kind. The mind will sometimes, when you're a little kid, you're just like, well, if only I were bigger, if only I were bigger, I could stop, my dad hurting my mom, or in the case of abuse, or if they're getting bullied, if I were bigger, I could hurt that bully instead of that bully hurting me. And so the mind says, oh, so we want to be bigger. When you're little, you don't say taller, stronger, you say bigger.
Yeah.
So all the mind does is make you bigger.
Yeah.
And a a really big thing with weight. People who are very, very obese, they usually have been sexually abused.
Mm.
So when you've been sexually abused, it is such a violation of a child.
Mm.
And a child, an egocentric child, makes that about them, makes it about that, like it's my fault that they did that, because they must idolize adults. They can't blame adults. It's just a subconscious thing. And so the body will protect itself by putting on so much weight that they can't, that nobody will ever find them attractive. Not true, of course. Some people really like somebody who's really heavy. So it's all about these beliefs you've made in your mind and using the suggestion. So somebody who doesn't have a big problem with weight, maybe they want to lose weight after pregnancy, or, and also, I'm just going to interrupt right there. Lose, the word loss is a bad word to use when it comes to weight.
Okay.
Because what can you think of? Can you think of anything that you could lose that would be good?
No.
No, nothing else. So the subconscious mind is really quite black and white. It doesn't say all loss is bad except weight. It doesn't do that. All loss is bad, period.
Yeah.
So when you go, oh, I lost 5 pounds, it's like, oh, God, we got to get that back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't say loss. Say weight management, weight control, weight reduction. People say weight release. It's like the new age thing. Weight release or let go of weight. You have to pick a word that resonates with you, but that is less emotional than loss.
Okay.
So so somebody who didn't have a big problem with their weight and they just wanted to drop, that's another good word, drop 5 pounds or drop 10 pounds after, I don't know, something, and that's me right now after this couple of years of, or this past year of not being able to go to the gym or get out so much, and that's just an excuse because I could totally exercise if I really wanted to, but I just haven't been. So for me, all I can use, like I have this one recording that I made for myself called the Hypnotic Gastric Band, and it takes you through, there's always an induction. So the induction is like you're getting sleepy or you're getting relaxed, you're relaxing your body, you can walk downstairs, imagine yourself going deeper and deeper, meaning into your subconscious mind. That's the deeper mind. And so you have to, that's usually about 5 minutes, could be longer for somebody who can't relax. And then you start with the suggestions. So for me, I've always been pretty fit. I was, raised in a house where nobody in my family is really overweight. It wasn't a thing for us, and I've always been an athlete. So I actually like working out. I like walking. I like working. I like, I used to like rock climbing. I was so fit then. And so that is familiar to me, is to be fit. And so I made myself this hypnotic gastric band, and so you go do the induction, and then you imagine yourself getting like the band on your stomach so that your stomach is super small. And as one teacher would always say, my stomach is the size of my fist, which is true. Your actual stomach is the size of your own fist. Yeah. So that's not a lot of food, right? Yeah. That's not a lot of food at all. Yeah. So you can eat as much vegetable as you want because it's all water, basically. So you can eat, 3 bushels of spinach if you really want to. Yeah. But the other solid foods. And so when you suggest to your mind that your stomach is the size of your fist, the mind is like, well, I can only fit so much in there. Yeah. And it's amazing. Like in the recording, it's like you can feel your stomach shrinking. It's so small. And then you have the band, and then your stomach is this big, like the size of like half a small teacup. Yeah. And I literally, when I did that, I moved out to California for a while. I was like having fun, going to concerts, going to art shows, and partying, and going to birthday parties and doing all this stuff. And in a month and a half, I was like, like too much eating and drinking. And so I made myself that, and like within 2 weeks, I was thinner than I had been for a really long time. Wow. I just couldn't eat a lot. Yeah. I just couldn't eat a lot, and it's hot there all the time, so I don't like to eat when it's hot, which was helpful. And I was working out more. I quit drinking and quit eating so much. It was just more practical about what I was eating, what I was drinking, what I was doing. But I would have like coffee with coconut and the milk in the morning, and that would just, the full fat coconut like milk is so caloric, and so, and with collagen, and then I would have like a salad and maybe some protein for lunch, and then I just wouldn't eat dinner. Or would have like a little snack or something, and the weight dropped off in like 2 weeks, like no problem. And my roommate at the time was like, what are you doing? You're so fit. And I was like, well, I am exercising, and I couldn't fit into my clothes, and it's always summer here, so
Yeah.
you got, you're always wearing tank tops and shorts and skirts and stuff. And
Yeah.
so I was like, I wasn't comfortable. My clothes weren't comfortable. I wasn't comfortable, and I was going to be damned if I was going to buy a whole new wardrobe.
Yeah.
For being heavier, like it just wasn't okay with me.
Yeah.
So, and she's studied hypnosis and done all this other stuff too. There's just nothing wrong with her body. She's super fit, and nobody in her family is overweight either. So she was fine, but she's not an athlete. So I think she was maybe comparing or something. But yeah, it was so easy because my mind doesn't have this idea that I need extra weight for protection.
Yeah.
Especially, I luckily had nothing super traumatic in that way happened to me as a child. I actually got, my food programming was eat a little bit and then, see if you want more. And that was really good food programming.
Yeah.
Where other people, unfortunately, grew up in a house where their mother, put, Coca-Cola in their baby bottle.
Yeah.
Tons of sugar, or they were raised on formula, which has tons of sugar. They get kids addicted to sugar from the get-go, or fed them lots of sugar, or fed them junk food. And then that becomes very normal and familiar to them.
Yeah.
Which to me is like, I can't even think about eating junk food.
Yeah.
Because even when we would go hiking when I was a kid, we would go to McDonald's and I was like, this stuff is garbage. Like, where's the real food,
Oh, yeah.
So it's programming starts so young. So yeah, and then there's, we're all addicted to sugar. So that we actually have the most receptors for the sweet taste on our tongue. Like if you look at the map of the tongue, like the sweet receptors are all over the place. And when we were cave people, we only got certain, ripe fruit at certain times of the year. So we only had fruit, sweet things occasionally, and the rest of the time it was like roots and whatever they could find, and meat. And honey, something super sweet, was very rare.
Yeah.
And then you'd eat it all up and it was gone.
Yeah.
So we're actually wired to know where sweet things are and go back and get some more.
Yeah.
Which is like where, it's the odds are against you.
Yeah.
Right off the
especially in
bat.
today's society where everything's just at a market.
And and sugar, and they know people are addicted to sugar. So people like sugar is in everything. I'm like, well, it's not in broccoli.
Yeah.
And it's not in, beef. So choose the food, choose whole foods.
Yeah, go in the U at the grocery store.
Right. Don't go down the middle aisles.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm getting off topic here. So it's the induction. So you can just record an induction for yourself, whatever relaxes you. Just imagine your scalp relaxing, your forehead, around your eyes, your eyelids feel heavy. I mean, we do, and then suggestions. So you use kind of these suggestions that aren't, dangerous. Like, so if I will show you, because we're going to hypnotize you soon.
Yeah.
So I'll show you that, and some people, this is the other thing too, is that some people are super suggestible. Like they are just super, super suggestible. And those are the people that stage hypnotists use. Because it's like you can do a suggestion. So if you have a big audience of people and you want to have people come up on stage and do the stage hypnosis, you ask people to close their eyes and you do the induction and you say, and now just try to open your eyes and find that you can't open your eyes. And you'll see people like trying to open their eyes. And the hypnotist is like, your eyes are glued shut. You cannot open your eyes. And people are trying and trying and trying. Other people are like, this eyes snap open. They don't want the people with the open eyes. Yeah. And then there's another cool thing you can do. You have them hold their hands out like this and imagine they have a bucket and a balloon. So left is lower and right is raised. So the left hand is the heavy bucket full of rocks or sand or whatever it is, and the right hand has a big helium balloon, and they want the people who are like this. Yeah. You just feel the left hand sinking, right, and the balloon is like, and the people who are like this, they're like, I want them on the stage, because they're super suggestible. So that's a very small percentage of the population. I'm not sure what number. I meant to look that up and I didn't, but it's small. It's a small percentage. Not everybody's that suggestible. And then most people are middle of the road. They're not going to be good for stage hypnosis, but they will take suggestion. And then there's people on the other end of the spectrum who think they cannot be hypnotized. That's not possible. Everyone can be hypnotized. They're just not going to allow themselves to be hypnotized because they don't feel safe, or they don't want to be told what to do, or they're very controlling. So those people are not good candidates, especially not for the stage hypnosis or when they come for a hypnosis session. Usually they won't come because they don't believe in it. They don't believe they can be hypnotized.
Yeah.
The thing is, we're all hypnotized by our own beliefs, and we go in and out of hypnosis. Like when you're reading a really good book and you just totally lose track of time.
Yeah.
That's basically a state of hypnosis. When you're watching a movie or a TV program and you were just sucked right in there, that's basically a state of hypnosis. So there's all these different spectrums, but basically with the self-hypnosis, you want to have a goal in mind. Like if you want to suggest to yourself that you're motivated and focused and that you want to do something, like in my case, I want to sit down and write this book I've been planning for years now. And so I want to give myself the suggestion that I'm excited about it. It's going to be fun. Because if I tell myself like, oh my God, it's going to take so long and it's going to be torture, the mind's like, oh God, we don't want that. Because the mind's job is to move you away from pain and towards pleasure. So if you say it's going to be exciting and fun and I can't wait, it's going to be amazing, it's going to help so many people understand hypnosis and why they are the way they are, why they feel unwanted or whatever it is. And so when I tell my mind that, my mind's like, oh, goody, let's do that. And it makes it so much easier. So you can make your mind you can make your life so much easier if you get your subconscious mind on board. So again, as long as there's no deeply held belief, like I've worked a long time on it's like safely being seen. Like if I didn't feel safe being seen, I wouldn't be here. Because you've got me on camera. It's going to go on YouTube. People are going to see me being seen and being heard. And it's funny. One of my friends was just like, so she was telling her daughter, she's like, oh gosh, she's so powerful. She has this amazing voice and everything. I knew her in high school. And then that I was out in LA, like taking one of my hypnosis workshops, and I did my hypnosis session with the teacher that day. And it was all about like how I felt insignificant and I didn't have a powerful voice and I never felt seen. And we had dinner that night. She was like, oh, I was telling my girls how amazing you are. And I was like, no, it was all an act. I felt insignificant, had no voice, was like totally afraid to be seen. And I knew that for myself, but I was trying to fake it. Because I knew that it was something, I couldn't just like go crawl in a hole and die.
It was holding you back.
Right. So it was holding me back. And now I've worked enough on it to know that like it's okay for me to be seen and heard and that I have something to say. I have something to contribute. Not in a like, oh, I'm so great kind of way. Like we all have something to contribute. I'm just like my subconscious mind is just okay with it now. Like, I've studied a ton. I've read all these books and I know some stuff that I think can help people. But a lot of people don't know. Like my passion is trying to help people who feel unwanted to know that they're just by the virtue of them being here means they're loved and wanted and amazing and that they have a purpose. Because for years I struggled and didn't feel that and felt super depressed and just felt completely hopeless. And that's not my experience of life anymore. And I'm continually working on it. But so again, so giving yourself a suggestion. So I want to give myself the suggestion that I'm excited about it. I'm motivated. I'm focused so I don't get distracted all day by whatever comes into my field of vision. Like, some people need to go in a room where there's nothing and just write. It's like I work from home and there's always something to do. And then my cat's like, oh, let's go outside and play. So it's easy to get distracted, but you can make a goal for yourself. Okay, I can make a goal for myself where I'm gonna write 500 words or 1,000 words. I'm gonna take a break. And that's good for your mind too to take breaks. But some people channel their book and they write it in the course of 5 days. And God, wouldn't that be nice? But I could give myself that suggestion too because everything's just a suggestion. You just have to have the belief. I'm like, well, other people have done it. Why not me? Because now I believe I deserve that. Like I would love to write my book in 5 days. That would just be so easy. So it's all about what suggestion you want to give yourself. Like give me an example of what kind of a suggestion. Like what's a suggestion you want to give yourself?
So right now I definitely feel like having more energy, being more calm and patient with my children, being more productive. I mean, I consider myself a pretty productive person as it is, but lately it's been a little bit more challenging because
Sure.
it's like, you're mentally and physically exhausted from having the 2 kids and everything else that's been going on. So, just having more energy, being more calm and patient and understanding with my children because they are very young and they don't get it. And then just, I guess, being able to use both of those things to channel my time into more productive pursuits.
Yeah. So probably the number one thing, it's good to just do one at a time. So the number one thing would be energy.
Yeah.
Because if you had more energy, you would be more patient.
Yeah.
Because when you don't have energy, you get pissed easier, right?
Yeah,
you get frustrated easier. So you've just had a baby, so you need to give yourself a break and make sure you rest enough.
Yeah.
And that's hard too when you have a nursing baby or whatever is going on. And so taking the time to rest. And also, there's tons of suggestions that and what you can find them on YouTube or just Google it, like auto suggestions for energy. Like every day. I mean, this is a really, really old one. I don't remember when in history this was, but there was a very famous, I think it was like a psychiatrist or a psychotherapist or a therapist or whatever you would call him, named Emile Coué. He was French, and he would give everybody the auto suggestion. Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. So that got adopted by Jose Silva, who wrote this book called the Silva Mind Control Method. And this guy, he was so lucky. He never really went to school, so he never got his right brain turned off, and was never like made to go to school and write things and use all your left brain and forget your creativity. So he was really creative, and he was fascinated with psychiatry and hypnosis and telepathic everything. And so he changed it he developed this whole system. He would hypnotize his kids. And this is so cool. He would hypnotize his oldest daughter. And he would read her these poems from school while she was in a relaxed state. And then one day he decided to read her the poems out of order. So he read her the first one, and then he was going to skip to the last one. And she started to recite the last one.
Really?
And then he did the next one. She started reading his mind.
Wow.
So she actually became a nurse anesthetist, or I don't remember exactly. I'm gonna mess it up now, but you can look her up. Isabel, I think her name's Isabel Silva, and she would be in the operating room, in the surgery with the doctors, and she would know when they were about to do something wrong.
Really?
Or she would give them a suggestion. And after a while, she was right so much of the time, or probably all of the time, that they'd be like, Isabel, will help? And she would tell them what to do.
Wow.
And she would be able to walk up to somebody and go, I remember my teacher for the Silva Method, he told this story about her. They were somewhere for their retreat, teaching the teachers and having this whole thing. And they were all learning the Silva Method all day, and then they'd be out drinking and partying and having a good time because they were young and doing all this cool stuff. And she flew in. She was a couple days late, and she walked up. She was like, "Ken, your bilirubin is low." It's like this thing with your liver. Yeah. Because he was drinking too much, and he's like, "My what?" She's like,
funny.
"Ken, your bilirubin is low. You have to stop drinking." And so she just picks stuff up like that.
Well, that's the thing. Is it too little or too much bilirubin that causes jaundice? Because that's what it is. It's in the bloodstream.
Right.
And I think if it's too much, it causes jaundice.
Right.
So I wonder what happens if it's too low, like what she was picking up on.
I don't remember the, I think probably it has something to do with the liver. So if you drink too much, that you're not producing enough of because alcohol affects the liver like crazy. Yeah, so I just remember that story.
Yeah, that's too funny.
Yeah, and stuff comes to you in dreams. That's subconscious too. So sorry, I kind of lost track there. So again, giving yourself the suggestion of energy, like Silva Method has a lot of those. And so what you would do in that case, what I would recommend is that you find an induction that you like, that you find really relaxing. It's usually pretty quick. 3 or 4 minutes, that's all you need usually. Some people are really stressed and they need a longer time to relax. And then you just give yourself the auto suggestion, every day I'm feeling more and more energy. I feel more energetic. I can do tasks more. I'm patient with my children. So all of those things that you want, and you make yourself a little script, and you just read it into your phone recorder, and then you play it to yourself. You can play it to yourself at night while you're sleeping, and there's some discussion on this. So the subconscious is always listening, because people have been in surgery and been under anesthesia, been knocked out, and they see what's going on in the room. So the subconscious, or they remember stuff about what happened. When you're sleeping, your subconscious is dreaming. So your subconscious never shuts down, because it's keeping your heart beating. It's beating. You don't have to breathe. You don't have to think about breathing when you're asleep, right?
Yeah.
So the subconscious mind is running all your body systems, so it does not go to sleep. So you can play a recording to yourself at night. I have a funny story about that. So you can play a recording to yourself at night and listen to it, and you will get those suggestions embedded. It's like planting seeds into your subconscious mind. They talk about that all the time. You plant the seeds in the subconscious mind. You can plant seeds of, negativity and horribleness, or you can plant seeds of positivity and whatever you want. Subconscious mind doesn't know the difference.
Yeah.
It's like, well, she's planting the seed. I'm going to grow it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the seed is. The subconscious mind does not know the difference between good or bad.
Yeah.
Healthy or unhealthy. So I have this client in Italy, actually, and she is British, but she's living in Italy now. Her husband's Italian. And she would play the recordings I would make her, and she had digestive issues. So we would do the hypnosis and find out where these allergies came from. And then I would make a recording of saying her immune system was so good and her digestion was so perfect, and that the hydrochloric acid in her stomach was so strong and it could handle anything. And so her husband was eating something once, and she'd play those recordings at night, all night long while they were sleeping, and he was eating something once, and she's like, oh, I don't think you can eat that. And he's like, no, my hydrochloric acid is really strong.
Oh my gosh.
And then I always put into my recordings usually that putting yourself first is not selfish. It's actually the least selfish thing you can do. Because, like, again, if you're tired, you're not good at doing whatever you're doing. It's gonna kind of negatively affect your children. Whereas if you put yourself first and make sure your energy is good, you can be a better mom, better wife, better worker, better better accountant, better whatever.
Yeah.
So he is so this same couple, he's learning English because he's Italian by birth, and I've spoken to him. His English is probably pretty good, but listening to the recordings that night was probably really good because he was hearing it all in English. And she said one night he kind of woke up but didn't quite wake up and turned over to sleep, and he was like, putting myself first isn't being selfish. Or he woke up and said something like, I'm not selfish, and then went back to sleep. And she'd tell me these stories, and I just think it was hilarious. So, yeah. And
that's too funny.
Yeah, so these suggestions, any of these suggestions, so that's all self-hypnosis is giving yourself the suggestions you want, which is probably better in a way because you know what you want. And so, but some people are like, well, I want this and this and this and this. It's like, you know what, make it a streamlined thing. Start with one thing. And again, if you had tons of energy, you'd just be better at everything. You'd be better at focusing, better at, handling your children, better at doing whatever. So yeah, and everybody wants more energy. I know I do.
Yeah.
I would love to have
it's a pretty universal
boundless
thing.
energy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some people have come to me, they're like, yeah, my energy's fine. I'm like, really? God, I always want more.
Yeah.
So,
well, there's lots of people that, and I think it's hilarious. They're like, oh, there's not enough, time in the day. And it's like, wow, you must be a really busy person for there to literally not be enough time in the day. Because I don't know about you, but I get quite a bit done. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's just funny.
Sure. Yeah. It's just an excuse.
Yeah.
So people use all kinds of excuses. Like, people will tell me they don't have time to listen to their 15 or 20-minute recording. And I'm like, no, you have the time. Yeah. You're just not taking the time. Because I'll when people say that, I'm like, well, have you watched TV every night this week?
Yeah.
They're like, yes. I'm like, okay. So you can substitute 15 to 20 minutes of that TV time.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of different reasons for that. Again, if you have a deeply held belief in your subconscious, you are going to have a hard time combating that. So if their subconscious mind, like if we didn't get to what we needed to really in this session, they won't listen to the recording because their mind is like, well, you don't deserve to hear those words. You don't deserve to hear that you're, beautiful and lovable and wanted and wonderful and like all your dreams are coming true, because those are the seeds you want to plant in your subconscious. And some people just believe that's not available to them.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's a subconscious belief that was implanted there in childhood, probably very young. Like, you know, life is hard. Money doesn't grow on trees. Life sucks and then you die. I mean, horrible, horrible suggestions.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And so these super suggestible people, they will take on all kinds of suggestions, good and bad. And then if whatever the most deeply held ones are, will conflict with, you know, what your beliefs are. You know, when you have conflicting beliefs, then you're just frozen because you can't have conflicting beliefs. So the subconscious mind has a strong belief about something, and you want the opposite belief, and the subconscious is like, no. But then your conscious is like, but I want this, and then it's just you're at an impasse, and the subconscious will win.
Yeah.
It's like we have this task that we give people after they've had some hypnosis, and it's all about changing your beliefs, and it's changing your beliefs at a conscious level. So again, you have to make sure that you don't have too much resistance to that your mind, you can't feel a resistance when you say something. Like you can't go from saying I'm broke all the time to saying I'm a millionaire. The mind's like, no.
Yeah.
I know you're broke. You're broke is what's true. Yeah. And then you have to make sure that you figure out why you're in that situation.
Yeah.
So it's like this woman we started, and she's like, I'm always 10 minutes late. And it was just like it's like, well, people think that's true. It's like, no, it's not true. It's just a belief. If you every day you were aware that you need to start getting early 10 minutes earlier, you would always be on time. And then you could say, I'm always on time. Yeah. Which, you know, people should be on time because it's, you know, it's kind of, they say, what did my psychologist said, people who are late are controlling, people who are early are manipulative, and people who are on time, or I don't remember the third one, but it was just like there was this whole reason for, whatever the reason was for being these different things. Yeah. So my mother is always like days late for everything, like days. She'd say she was going to do something, she'd do it like, sometimes she wouldn't even do it, but if it was something, like if she had to make it for a plane, she'd be, a little late and then hopefully make the plane, but because that's something you can't be days late for because you missed your flight. And my father is like annoyingly early, like way early. And then it's like, it's because when somebody's early, it's a little annoying too, because then you have to you feel obliged to,
to humor them when you weren't ready to.
Yeah, to accommodate them, even though they're 20 minutes early. It's like, well, I'm doing something, like go away. Yeah. So I had a conflict. I didn't want to be like either of them. Mm-hmm. So I'm always like just on time or like a little bit late sometimes if I don't plan. But I remember that's been something I noticed for years, that I got better at being on time. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I'm even early. So, but not like annoyingly early. Yeah. Because I just think that's a waste of time too. Yeah. So like when this woman was like, I'm always 10 minutes late, I'm like, okay, so I'm going to teach you the switch task. So say that I'm always 10 minutes late, and then you can use a notebook too and see how they change. So you write that down. I'm always 10 minutes late. And then you say switch, and you say, I'm getting better at being on time. Mm-hmm. Like you wouldn't go from I'm 10 minutes late to I'm always 10 minutes early. Again, you can't always do the direct opposite because this is conscious. It's not subconscious. But you can give your mind a suggestion like, I'm getting better at being early. And the mind can't really say no to that. You know what I mean? Because it's not like a hard and fast, like, I'm broke, I'm a millionaire. The mind's like, no. Yeah. If you're like, I'm broke, and then you start saying, well, I'm getting better at managing my money. The mind's like, it's kind of neutral. I don't know. Okay, I'll accept that, right? So it's going to be an acceptable suggestion. So so that switch task means what you do is you kind of observe your negative thoughts, and if you say something out loud that's negative that you want to change, you say switch, and then you say the new belief that you want to replace it with. Again, not something that's going to be
acceptable. Though.
Right. Yeah. It has to be acceptable to the subconscious mind, and you'll be able to feel it because you'll be able to feel that like resistance if you say that I'm broke, I'm a millionaire. The mind's like no, and you'll feel it. So, and everybody will feel it in a different way. But if you go from, I mean, maybe somebody can do that. That would be cool. But if you say, I'm always 10 minutes late, I'm getting better and better at being on time. I'm getting better at managing my time. I'm on time sometimes, so that means I can be on time more.
Yeah.
Whatever is, it's like neutral. It's like a neutral, something that the mind can't argue with.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. So all those things. I'm getting better energy all the time. I take good care of myself. I eat well. And that means my body can convert that energy. I'm recovering from, whatever your personal situation is. I'm getting plenty of sleep, so I should have more energy. And again, it's just a belief, like your body can do it. It's about accepting that belief and planting that seed. I have tons of energy. And the mind loves repetition.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to embed a new little seedling in the mind, you must use repetition.
Yeah.
So that's why we recommend the recording be listened to over and over. And I have people who've told me they're listening to my recording for like 3 years. I'm like, God, you're still listening to that thing?
Yeah.
But they love it. And because it's saying all kinds of good things about them, so those are good seeds to plant. But they love the repetition of that. It's really relaxing. There's nothing bad about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all self-hypnosis is the same as having a hypnotist, but you're just doing it yourself.
Okay.
And some people like that because they can control what's being suggested to them, or they want to try it themselves and see how it feels, or they, if they're not very trusting, which again, we get that in childhood. If we feel betrayed by a parent or something, we're going to get the belief that, people aren't trustworthy. And it's crazy. People trust me inherently with all their stories. I don't know why. It's like, I am very trustworthy, but they think they sense that, and they're just unburden themselves. It used to be a problem when I was a personal trainer. People would be like, I ate a whole cheesecake before, and I'd be like, la, 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 like, don't tell me that. Please don't tell me. That's why I became a hypnotherapist, so I could help them not eat the cheesecake. So it's just, you can tailor it to exactly what you want. And I actually have people do that. And some people don't want to do that. They're like, I don't know what I want. And I'm like, well, it's going to be hard for me to give you what you want if you don't know what you want.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of people's problem. They don't know what they want.
Yeah.
And so what you have to do is figure out, what is the experience of life that you want to have. Do you want to have tons of energy? Do you want to have love in your life? Do you want to have excitement? Do you want to have calm? Do you want to, whatever it is, you want to have, relationships that feel super connected. And those are things I think everybody wants.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't, they just assume it's not available to them because of the way they grew up or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, giving yourself suggestions and repetition and, make it simple to start, I have more and more energy all the time, or whatever's I have more energy every day, I have more energy every week, I'm recovering really well. Your mind is like, okay, well, let's make that happen. Let's get her body recovered quicker and get strong. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I know today we're going to do some guided hypnosis, and it'll be really great because people at home can follow along. So obviously we're going to kind of keep it a little bit more something that everybody could benefit from listening. But do you want to kind of talk about real quick kind of what we're going to do with the guided hypnosis, and then we can get started?
Sure. So I'll actually leave that up to you. What we can do, if we can really do anything. So something that might be interesting. It can be intense. So sometimes it's hard to keep it like kind of mellow because you never know what your mind's going to go back to.
Okay.
I remember once I was assisting at a workshop, and they were, students were practicing on each other, and the facilitator was like, we're going to keep it, we're going to keep it really simple today. Just work on whatever your partner wants to work on, confidence or public speaking. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I've taken people back to why they're not good at public speaking, and it's because they were like being beaten.
Yeah.
Or like worse. And confidence, same thing. And I was like, are you insane? Those are the two of the most volatile things that we can go back to. So if we were doing HypnoFit, the first thing we would do is to go back to the first experience you had of feeling angry. And that can be, timeline therapies, I think, is a little bit more mellow
Mhm.
because you're actually floating above your timeline looking down at the
Mhm.
events. So I think we should do that.
Okay.
We should do timeline therapy, which is just another, it's actually not time, it's HypnoFit.
Okay.
Which is timeline therapy is a little bit different, but it's based, HypnoFit is based on timeline. You use a timeline, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we can go back to, we can release anger. We can go back to where you made a belief. We could really do anything. But
Okay.
it's got to be, I want it to be whatever, what do you feel like what's coming to your mind when I talk about this?
Well, to be honest, some of the ones that, going back in time and kind of looking at, my childhood and stuff, little hesitant to want to do something like that if
Sure.
I'm, being broadcast to the world.
Right.
So, and part of that too is whatever comes up, that's going to make the guided hypnosis be more tailored to me. Whereas I want this to be something that people can follow along with at home.
Sure.
So if we could kind of keep it, I guess, more generic, I don't know if that's possible.
Not really.
Okay.
Because if I were going to do a generic hypnosis on you, it would be pure suggestion.
Okay.
We wouldn't do any regression, which
Okay.
we can do that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I mean, yeah, it's usually the thing is that floating above it, you don't get as emotional.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and the thing is, the way that HypnoFit is set up, you do these emotions first. You do anger, sadness,
Mm-hmm.
depression, fear, hurt, shame, or guilt, shame, and then you do belief. So we could do a belief like, let's go back to the, why you felt, you weren't good enough, because everybody has that one.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's going to bring up your own scenes and the thing that's cool about it is that what we do with HypnoFit is that you look down at the event instead of going and associating down into it and feeling
Mm-hmm.
it. All you're doing is looking down at the event. You don't even have to tell me what the event is.
Okay.
All you do is float above it and say, and I ask you, what did you learn from that event?
Mm.
That what is the learning from that event that will make the anger let go?
Mm.
And your mind, it's they're not even learnings really, they're rememberings.
Mm.
So that's what life is about, right? You have an experience and you learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about childhood is we're holding on to these beliefs and emotions and scenes,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not learning from it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about what you learned then, because you didn't learn anything. Otherwise, it'd
Yeah.
be gone, right? It's what you learn now.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking down on it with your wise adult eyes,
Okay.
and you're getting what you learned from it. And it's like people will go back to a scene of their parents fighting,
Mm-hmm.
and what they felt their parents' anger, or they felt angry themselves. And what they're learning is they're like, it wasn't about me.
Mm-hmm.
It had nothing to do with me. I'm not responsible for their relationship, their emotions, their behavior. They did love me. What they were arguing about was because, they had anxiety about providing for me or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas if I would do like pure regression therapy, you would associate down into the scene and you would feel the feelings. It would be very intense. Another thing that just popped into my mind is upgrading the child. But again, you go back and see your child self. It's beautiful, but it's intense.
Yeah.
And that would be good for everyone. I think that's a really great thing for everyone to do, is to go back and see their child self.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll cry.
Yeah.
So again, you don't want to necessarily broadcast that.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit tricky picking a thing that's not just suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
So because anything could come up.
Yeah.
I don't believe that there's a safe, there's any safe subject when it comes to hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
I've helped people work on health issues, confidence, anxiety is all, a bunch of fear, depression, that brings up a bunch of stuff, any of that stuff. But the HypnoFit, I think, is the most, you are separate from the event.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking down on your child self having the emotion, and you're taking away the learnings.
Okay.
It's super powerful. But yeah, that's the one I would recommend. But
Yeah.
it's totally up to you. It's because it's your what I can just do is show you an induction
Mm-hmm.
and some suggestions,
Mm-hmm.
which I think would be really cool,
Yeah.
and then give you some suggestions about energy. Like
Yeah.
when's the last time you had good energy?
Before pregnancy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you have had before pregnancy with either of your child? Or
yeah, so
either
actually
of
the
your
best
children?
energy I can think of was right before I was pregnant with my first daughter.
Okay.
Because I was doing like yoga every single day, and I mean, we lived on the fourth floor of this apartment and went up and down like 3 flights of stairs, and it was no problem for me.
Yeah.
You know, whereas now if I tried to do that, I'd be winded going to,
Sure.
going to the top. So it's like I was a lot more, physically able to do a lot of those things, which is really what I'm looking to do.
Right.
Is, have that, being able to keep up physically with the demands of everything that I have to deal with, which I'm sure every single mom can relate to, chasing around children and all that stuff.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you're also not doing the 4 flights of stairs.
No, I'm on
all
the first floor now,
either.
so I have no stairs.
Right. Yeah. So people think you have to have energy in order to exercise, but really it's the reverse. When you exercise, you make more energy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so why don't I'll do an induction and some cool suggestions, and then take you back to that time.
Okay.
And remind your mind of all that good energy that you had.
Okay.
And say, when your mind, it's familiar, right? It was familiar.
Yeah.
And you had energy before that for years and years, because you're young.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 27.
27. Oh my God, you're a baby.
I'll be turning 28 next month.
Oh wow,
actually.
so old. I'm twice your age, basically. So yeah, that's the thing. People have all these beliefs about energy, and I remember one woman specifically came for weight, but it was so interesting because her mother had told her, again, we're very open to the suggestion of our parents, because we must idolize our parents as children, even though they're not necessarily worthy of idolizing.
Yeah.
But this woman, she had her kids, and her mother said, that's it, you're going to gain 25 pounds and never be able to get it off. And she went back to that scene. Yeah. And then she went through menopause. Her mother said again, you're going to gain another 25 pounds and you'll never get it off. Took it as a suggestion. The third one was, I think, seeing her mother being older and gaining weight and making the belief like that's going to be me because that's my mother. So we saw 3 very clear instances of where she made this belief that I'm going to gain weight and not get it off. Gain weight, not get it off. Not true. Not true. Does everybody have kids and gain 25 pounds and never lose it? No. Plenty of people barely gain any weight at all and then take it all off as soon as they have the baby. So it's all about beliefs, and there are no true beliefs except for what your truth is, for what you want to believe. So when people say, well, that's impossible, that's it's their impossible. It's not your impossible. Everything that has now come into, that is now a thing in the world, was at one time felt impossible. I mean, these things weren't,
Yeah, exactly.
You think this would they didn't even know this thing could exist when I was a child,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, you ready?
Let's do this.
Okay. So let's put the camera on you.
Oh, okay.
So that we can watch you go through it. Nobody wants to watch me talking the whole time. Okay, so you want to sit in the most comfortable position you can, if that chair is fairly comfortable.
Back a little
Is it
bit
okay?
so my head rested.
Good, yeah. And you always want to you don't want your hands and feet touching or crossed. And when I often have people will start to pick their nails or rub their fingers together or scratch their head, and that's the sign that subconscious is like, ooh, this is getting uncomfortable. So you always want to be in an open position. And a lot of people are like, but I like to have my legs crossed. It's best to be in an open position, most comfortable position, sitting or lying. Some people will fall asleep if they lie down. People say the best position for hypnosis or meditation is with your back supported, like in a chair like this, back supported and head free. You can support your head if you want to. Some people do like it in a recliner, but I've heard meditation teachers say back supported and head free, so that your head can drop forward. Like some people go into hypnosis and they're leaning over, their head is forward, they're falling off the chair. Everybody's different. Most people are just relaxed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so sitting in a comfortable position, that's perfect. And now look straight ahead and then slightly up. You don't have to strain your eyes up, but just slightly up. Perfect. And now take a deep breath in and breathe out. Good. Take another deep breath in and breathe out. Good. One more deep breath in. And this time, as you breathe out, you can just gently close your eyes. And do you see how you blinked a few times while you were looking up before you closed your eyes? We have you look up like that because it makes your eyes tired and it makes your eyelids want to close. So that's just a signal to the mind that we're getting ready to go into a relaxed state. So that's perfect. So now you can forget all about your eyes and the position of your eyeballs. You can just let them go where they feel comfortable and just relax and let a drifting, floating feeling come over your body. And you can just relax your entire body from your head to your feet. So now I just want you to feel your scalp relaxing. All the skin that covers your head, under your hair. Just feel your scalp relaxing, letting go of any tension in your head. And feel your forehead relaxing now. Just let any tension drain out of your forehead. And all around your eyes, all the muscles and nerves and tissues in and around your eyes are all relaxing and letting go. Feel your face relaxing. And feel your jaw relaxing. And just make sure that your teeth are slightly separated so you're not clenching your teeth or your jaw. Just want to let every bit of tension release from your jaw. And now feel your neck relaxing. All the little muscles and nerves and tissues in your neck. Just feel it all relaxing and letting go. You can even kind of move your neck around if you need to. The neck muscles are the first to tighten and the last to relax. So you're holding your head up all day with your neck. And now you can feel that lovely sensation of relaxation flowing down over your shoulders, down your arms to your elbows, and down your forearms and wrists to your hands and fingers, all the way to your fingertips. And now feel your back relaxing. Let's feel the chair supporting you as you sink more deeply into your chair, feeling all your big back muscles relax. And now you can feel the front of your torso relaxing, all around your collarbones and down over your chest and abdomen, all the way down your lower abdomen and all the way down to your hips, so that your entire body, your upper body is relaxed. You can feel your legs relaxing now, again feeling the chair under your legs supporting you, feeling your knees relax, feeling your calves and shins relax, all the way down to your ankles and through to your heels. And the arches of your feet are relaxing, and the balls of your feet are relaxing, and your toes are relaxing all the way to the very tips of your toes, so that your entire body is so relaxed, and you're just sinking into your chair more and more, feeling so calm and peaceful. And now just to have you get a little bit more relaxed, you're going to imagine 10 steps descending in front of you. And you can imagine those steps down to a beach or a park or a garden or a forest or any place that makes you feel relaxed. Or, if you prefer, you don't have to visualize at all, because your subconscious mind is so good at visualizing. All you have to do is listen to the sound of my voice and let your mind do all the work. But sometimes it's fun to just imagine those steps, whatever they look like. So you're looking down those 10 steps, you're moving on to step 10. As each muscle, every nerve turns loose, limp, and lazy. Taking step 9, you can see your feet, hear your feet, and feel your feet, treading each step. Taking step 8, as you move down, drift down, travel down to an even deeper level. Just drifting deeper and deeper. Taking step 6, going deeper and deeper, feeling so relaxed, going into an awareness of yourself where all the answers are. Taking step 5, you're halfway down. As each muscle, every nerve turns loose, lets loose, and you go deeper. Taking step 4 as you gently, calmly, easily move on over to an even deeper level. Just drifting deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper and even deeper into a wonderful, wonderful awareness of yourself. Feels normal and natural and easy. Taking step 3, going deeper with every sound and noise and movement around you. Taking step 2, just go deeper. And deeper just means you're going deeper into an awareness of yourself. Taking that last step, just going deeper, drifting deeper, and sinking deeper. So now that you're feeling so relaxed, you can just imagine that your eyes are glued shut, sealed shut, locked tight. And the harder you try to open your eyes, the more they feel glued shut, sealed shut, locked tight. Just try to open your eyes and find they are glued shut. Just try to open your eyes, find they are sealed shut. Good. Just try to open your eyes, find they are glued shut, sealed shut, locked together, melted together. Good. And you can just forget all about your eyes. And now I want you to imagine that you're at your home and you want some lemon. You want to put lemon in water, you want a lemon to make salad dressing or whatever you might use lemon for. So you're going into your kitchen. You're going to wherever you would keep a lemon, whether it's in the refrigerator or in a fruit bowl, wherever you would keep that lemon in your house, in your kitchen. And you're taking that lemon and you're taking whatever knife that you use personally at your home to cut that lemon. And this lemon is perfect. It is ripe and juicy and perfect, totally ready to be eaten or used. And so you cut that lemon into wedges. You have these big, beautiful wedges of lemon, and you can smell that wonderful lemony smell, that citrusy scent that is unique to a lemon. Because everything has a unique smell. And everybody knows what a lemon smells like, usually. So you take one of those wedges of lemon and you hold it up to your nose and you take a deep whiff of that beautiful lemony scent. And then you put that entire wedge of lemon into your mouth and you bite down on that lemon. And the sour lemon juice is flowing into your mouth and you can taste that super sour lemon juice flowing into your mouth. And what is going on in your body right now, Michelle?
I'm salivating.
Yeah. So, do you have a lemon?
Mm-hmm.
A real one?
No.
Right. And I love that because you said, yes, I do have a lemon. So your mind does not know the difference between what is vividly imagined and what is so-called reality. So whatever you vividly imagine is what's real to your mind. Good. So yeah, that's because you make saliva because the lemon juice is acidic and the saliva protects your teeth. So the mind makes the saliva to combat the acidity of the lemon juice. So perfect. So you see, you just took a suggestion. Also with the eyes, did you feel like the eyes were glued shut? Yeah. So you accept suggestion probably like the vast majority of people. So I want to do the bug and balloon just to see how it does. So just turn your chair a little bit so that you're not, actually I don't know if the desk will be in the way. Hold your arms out at shoulder height. Perfect. Good. And in your left hand, I want you to imagine you have this huge, heavy bucket of rocks. And you can feel the pull of those heavy rocks, like 100 pounds, and it's pulling your hand down and down and down. And in your right hand, you have big helium balloons, and they're raising your arm up, just like your arm's on a pulley. And the harder you try to pull your hand down, the more those big balloons pull your arm up, just like it's on a pulley. It's pulling up and up and up and up and up. You're trying to pull those balloons down. It's like pushing a beach ball underwater. You push it under and it springs back up. Good, good. And now you can just let go of the balloons and let your arm fall back into your lap and let go of the bucket. Do you see how your arms moved?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, what you vividly imagine, your mind responds to. So.
The bucket of heavy felt a lot more intense than the
Sure.
balloon did.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's kind of a more solid image in your mind. Yeah, absolutely. Good. Okay. So now that you're all relaxed and all primed up with suggestions, now I want you to go back in your mind, go back to the time when you had this wonderful, vibrant energy. You were walking up a lot of stairs and you were doing yoga and lots of exercise, and you were a couple of years younger, so still very young as you are today, but just go back into that time and just imagine that you're going back to that time and you can see yourself or feel what it was like to be in your body then, because your body changes every year, especially if you've had children. But go see what it was like. Go and feel what it felt like to have all that energy, have that boundless energy of a 24, 25-year-old. How good it felt to have that energy to climb up all those stairs and exercise and do yoga. What does it feel like?
Effortless.
Nice, that's a good word. Yeah. Very little effort. Good. How else does it feel?
Like alive.
Beautiful. Good. What else?
Like, I don't know, just like I can do it without needing to think about it.
Okay. Okay. Good. So you trust your body just to do it?
Yeah.
You have faith in your body? Just taking some notes.
It just feels like it just happens. Instead of having to think about it and make the effort to make it happen.
Okay. All right, so you can ask your mind now. You can ask your mind why, where is the disconnect? Like, why do you feel now, what belief or emotion or what's getting in the way of you going right back to having that effortlessness, that energy, that trust in your body, that feeling of being alive? What is getting in the way of that? What's stopping you from going back there? Whatever image or whatever words come to mind.
It feels like it's like being frustrated. It feels silly saying it. It's like being frustrated at my mom when I was a kid because she wouldn't really do a lot.
Okay.
And she was always on the computer.
Okay. Do you see how there's like no way to predict what's going to come up? So I
think
had
it's
no idea.
because I spend a lot of time on the computer now with my work.
Okay.
Which is necessary.
Okay.
That I work.
Okay, so your mind is associating you working on the computer with your mother working on the computer. And
but she wasn't working. She just wanted to be on the computer, like on Facebook all the time. Okay. And so what is the feeling of that little girl? You said frustrated, right?
And what else? Like, what is that? What is little Michelle after? What does she want?
Her to come play with all of us.
Okay. And that takes energy, right? To play with a bunch of kids. It's easy, isn't it? Don't you think it would be easier to just sit and be on Facebook?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, easier. So I don't want to make it too emotional here, but it can be, right? So I want you to zip back there as yourself from right now, and I want you to go into that house, and now I want you to take little Michelle by the hand, and I want you to take her out of there. Pick her up in your arms and hold her tight and say, we're going to go have some fun. You're going to come home with me now. You're going to come and be with me, and we're going to play, and we're going to do stuff. And I'm going to be the best mom to you because I know what you want. I know what you really want because I'm you all grown up, and you're me. And you get to come and be with me. Yeah, and that's how you do inner child work. Powerful, right? Yeah. Is she happy now? Good. Yeah, I know. I can't guarantee there won't be tears. But I want you to focus on the love you have for her. Again, that can bring happy tears. Sorry. I make everybody cry. Just my job. I cried my whole life, so now it's my job to help people to release all this sadness from the past. Yeah, so bringing her back home with you, knowing that you can have whatever you want because you're the mother now. You get to call the shots. And yeah, you spend time on the computer for work, but you're doing something. You're accomplishing something. You're not just wasting time on the computer. You're doing it for work and for your podcast and for connection, and everyone uses a computer now. But you know as well that you can have as much energy as you want. That you can have so much energy because your body knows how to have energy. You had boundless energy as a child, and you had boundless energy when you were doing the yoga and walking up the stairs. So I want you to just imagine. I want you to visualize yourself. Yes, you have days when you have to spend time on the computer, but the other days you just feel this beautiful, wonderful energy in your body. You feel alive. It feels effortless to do all the things that you need to do. You trust your body. You trust your body to be able to handle anything. And you listen to your body too. You listen to your body when you need a break, when you need to rest, because you did just have a baby. And it's hard on the body and you need rest. So you're going to be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with yourself just like you were gentle with that little you. That little version of you, you would never hurt her, right? Yeah, you want to love her and be good to her. So you have to love you and be good to you. And the way we learn how to do that is to love our little child every day, more and more. Because we're not taught to love ourselves because we're raised by people who don't love themselves. They don't teach us to be self-loving, to take care of ourselves. What they teach us is to beat ourselves up. We've all had plenty of that. So that's enough of the beating yourself up. You get to love yourself, take care of yourself. Know that the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can take of your daughters and your life and your clients, your husband, and everyone. Women are really good at putting themselves last. And then they end up with no energy at all. So remembering that your energy is the basis for everything, that you are energy, that everything is energy. So if you don't have enough energy, you got to replenish yourself. And the way you start that is just remembering to plug into your mind that that energy is available to you, that you've had it before. Your mind remembers that feeling of, aliveness and effortlessness, that trust you had in your body to do whatever it needs to do. And yeah, there's time for recuperation and repair after you've had a child, because that's a major, major life event. And your body needs a little nurturing and a little help. How does that feel?
A lot nicer.
Good. Yeah.
Almost like I'm floating.
Good. Yeah, that floaty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the more low vibration, because basically the scene from childhood is a low vibration emotion.
Mm.
It's not bad per se. It's just a lower vibration than happiness and floaty and energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you remove that low vibration, you can have a higher vibration. And the more high vibration you have in your body, the more energy you are and the less matter you are. It's all energy and matter. We're really all energy, but the low vibration emotions make us feel more solid and heavier, and it's less happy feeling. So the more floaty and energetic, more like energy that you feel, the better you feel, the happier you feel, and that engenders more energy and more happiness. Good. Good. Is there any resistance in your mind to cultivating this wonderful energy? Anything your mind is saying that it's not possible or that it's not available? Anything that's stopping you from having this beautiful energy come back?
A little bit.
Okay, what's that about?
I feel like I'm trying to convince my brain that, like, I'm not going to turn into my mom.
Okay. So, are you your mom?
No.
No. Are you very much like your mom?
No.
Okay. So you could just let your mind know. Just tell your mind, I'm not my mom. You could say it out loud even.
Yeah, I'm not my mom. I'm not even like her at all.
Good. Say, I'm me.
I'm me.
I get to be me.
I get to be me.
I get to be authentically me.
I get to be authentically me.
I'm unique.
I'm unique.
I'm not like anyone else.
I'm not like anyone else.
I'm not supposed to be like anyone else.
I'm not supposed to be like anyone else.
She happens to be my role model.
She happens to be my role model.
But I'm an adult now.
But I'm an adult now.
I can be my own role model.
I can be my own role model.
Because nobody's going to be a perfect role model for me.
Because nobody's going to be a perfect role model.
Except me.
Except me.
Good. How's that feel?
Relieving.
Good. Yeah. Again, no guarantees when you start working with the subconscious, but happy tears, right? Because it's a relief. Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of people are hesitant to do hypnosis because it can be emotional.
Mm-hmm.
But the most real thing about us is our emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And unless you go in there and unlock that ability to feel that again and let it go, you spend the rest of your life with your subconscious thinking you're supposed to be somebody you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Good. All right. How's that resistance now? Is it gone?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, and I think that's a really good thing to remember is you're supposed to be authentically you, uniquely you. That there has never been anyone just like you.
Yeah.
There never will be. There isn't now, and there never will be. So you can just accept yourself and love yourself. And yeah, as humans, we live by comparison. But after a while, comparison isn't really helpful because you just want to be you. Would you want to be anyone but you?
No.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's one of my favorite things when I have somebody in hypnosis and ask them if they want to be someone else. You think they'd say, some movie stars, and they say, no, I want to be me.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can just let your mind know, I'm an adult now.
I'm an adult now.
I'm not supposed to be just like my mother.
I'm not supposed to be just like my mother.
I'm not just like her.
I'm not just like her.
She had her own life.
She had her own life.
I have mine.
I have mine.
I get to choose my beliefs now.
I get to choose my beliefs now.
I get to choose my life.
I get to choose my life.
How's that feel?
It feels like a relief. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we have a conflict where we think like we're tribally wired, like we're supposed to be like our family or our mother in particular if you're a woman, and then we have this part of us that's supposed to rebel and be something else. So we have like an kind of an ingrained internal conflict. So we battle that all the time. I want to be me. No, I'm supposed to be like them. I want to be me. I'm supposed to be like them. And so this allows you to say, yeah, no, I'm just going to be me. It's not that I'm better or they're worse or they're better or I'm worse. There's no better. You're just on your own journey, your own path. Everybody else has their own journey and their own path. Everybody's at a different level. No level is better than the other. It's just where they're at. Yeah. And do you think she did the best she could?
Yeah. I mean, I want to say yes, but part of me always feels like she could have tried more.
Sure. So do you know what was going on in her head all the time?
No.
Okay. So yeah, it's hard to believe sometimes.
Yeah.
But everybody is actually doing their best with the tools they have at the time. They really are. It seems very hard to believe, but they are. They are. You don't know anybody's story. You don't know what's going on in their head.
Yeah.
And so that's a really important part of this too, is to remember that until you live in someone's skin, you have no idea what they're going through, and not to judge.
Yeah.
Because they may have experienced horrors that you don't know. You know, that's like me with my mother. I knew all my life that she had been through, worse than hell. She had been through a war. And I cut her a lot of slack, but until I knew it subconsciously, it didn't really help what I felt. And now that I know it consciously and subconsciously, I can just love her unconditionally. Good. And sometimes it takes a while to love a parent unconditionally, but how do you feel about her now?
I feel kind of so-so.
Yeah, that doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
And there are some more techniques I could do to help with that, but they're usually pretty intense. So
another time.
Yes, for sure. Another time when it's more private. Good. So how are you feeling about this idea of having beautiful, alive feeling energy and exercising and getting everything done and feeling great? How does that feel?
I feel great about it. I feel like I'm allowed to.
Ooh,
I feel
good.
like I deserve to.
Yes.
And why not?
Good. Yeah. Why not? Absolutely. Why would you have to feel any other way? We are designed to feel, we're actually designed to feel good. We're designed to feel love and designed to feel that beautiful high vibration energy, and we feel most energetic when we're moving our body. Our bodies are made to move, right? Yeah, and we have to take our rest too, but so you can balance. Balance is a big one. Feeling balance, like spending the time on the computer that you need to, and then spending the time moving that you need to, and having a nice balance.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And not feeling guilty about the balance.
Yeah. So yeah, guilt is a big one. Guilt is, it's very low vibration.
Yeah.
It's like 30 on a scale of 1,000. It's one of the shame is the lowest. It's 20. So yeah, the highest is enlightenment, gratitude, appreciation, peace and joy are up there. Love is about 500. So yeah, you want to be up in the upper echelons of the energetic scale. So shame and guilt. Yeah, that's why Hypnosis is so good. We go through all these emotions and you just let them go. And then it's like I felt guilty for being conceived, and then I was like, I went into hypnosis. I'm like, it wasn't my fault. And it felt, I was high that day. Talk about energy. It was like releasing this really low vibration, kind of ugly, dark colored energy, and then my body felt so alive. Yeah, good. All right. Any other resistance to having great energy, feeling good?
No, I'm trying to see if I can think of anything.
Hmm?
And it's just
good.
I don't think so.
Good.
I feel so much better about it.
Good. All right. So just realizing that you've done an amazing thing by just visiting the past for a little bit and bringing your child home, releasing that old resentment, frustration, those low vibration emotions, realizing that you get to be you, authentically you, who you're meant to be, enjoying that and loving that, feeling good about it, which automatically gives you a ton more energy. Remembering to tell your mind every day, I have beautiful, vibrant energy. I'm vibrantly healthy in every way. Planting that seed, repeating it. And when you're ready, you can slowly, calmly, easily, gently come back to the room, come back to yourself. And you can, when you're ready, you can just open your eyes.
Feels weird coming out of it.
Yeah, it's a different place, isn't it?
It's really bizarre because it almost feels like you fall down into something, and then when you're coming back up, it almost feels like you're floating back up into.
So I always say deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're going into it's inner work.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have, it's non-local.
Yeah.
So it feels very different than being here in a body.
Yeah.
That feels like it's in a place. Very heavy, like the gravity.
Yeah.
Like you're free of the gravity with the subconscious mind. It's non-local. You can go anywhere. Right?
Yeah.
You can go anywhere you want.
And it's funny too because I'm a very visual person, so I have no problems visualizing anything.
Yeah.
And when I visualize like the stairs going down into like whatever the happy place was, it was like this is like how posh I am, I guess. It's like these really elaborate, like golden heavenly stairs, you know,
beautiful, going
down with like jewels and stuff. And then it's like you go down into like this beach and it's like clear waters and just like nice sand and relaxing.
So that's really beautiful, and that's actually tells you something.
Okay.
That tells you something about your mind, because some people pick some like horrible cement stairs down to a junkyard or something. No, seriously.
Mine was like so elaborate.
Okay, that's
and my family was down on the beach. Evan and Cass and Heidi were all on the beach waiting for me, and they were so excited to see me. And
that's beautiful. That's a really good sign that you've got some good stuff in your subconscious, because that level of opulence and gorgeousness and brightness, that's really light. That's really light, and that's actually a really good sign that you've got some good stuff going on in your subconscious. I remember once I was going to somebody who did, she was like an intuitive, and I think it's called integrated awareness, and I was always talking to her about this, about, you know, my inability to make more money or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And so she said she was, you know, it was this like kind of hands-on. It's a little bit like craniosacral. It's hard to describe, but she gets images from me basically. Yeah. And so she was thinking, like the kind of house she lived in was like, you know, a little house with a white picket fence. And she had 2 dogs and 3 cats, and you know, her husband and whatever.
Yeah.
And so she got an image from me. I'm kind of remembering it vaguely, but she was picturing this like velvet gown with like diamonds and stuff, and I was like, that's my idea of wealth and abundance and everything. So it blew her mind because it wasn't like she was coming from her perspective, which was like, oh, little house with a white picket fence, and I was like, God no, I want like the gorgeous velvet gown going to the Oscars, kind of thing. So we don't know what's in there until we do stuff like this.
That's too funny.
And so and I'm not very visual. I'm more like a feeling.
Yeah.
So I don't always picture the stairs. I have more like there's all these different, there's like clairsentient, which is you hear things. Claircognizant, it's like a knowing. Clairaudient is hearing. What's the sentient? Oh, clairsentient is feeling. Clairaudient is hearing, clairvoyant is seeing, and claircognizant is the knowing. So there's all these different ways you can get information. So because they're not visual per se. Like clairvoyant is seeing without the eyes. Clairaudient is hearing without the ears. That thing. So it's a different world. So is that the first time you've experienced something like that?
Yeah, so I've done like meditations in the past.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel the same way. This felt very much like you're going to a completely different place.
Yeah.
Whereas meditations, I always still felt like I was in my head. Or maybe like hovering above. Yeah. But this almost felt like going into some weird dark, like, not dark in a bad way. Like obviously it was very illuminated. Yeah. But it was almost like going into like a cavern. And then you like turn around the corner and the light shines through and there's like this little oasis in a cavern. Like, I don't know.
That's very cool. Yeah, this clearly you have visual, you're a visual person because you're able to describe all this, and that's lovely. Yeah. So because some people are just like, well, I'm not doing it right because I'm not seeing. Yeah. Some people see like a movie screen with this movie of their life. Yeah, that's very. I don't see that at all. Yeah. I just feel. Yeah. I feel like when I go to do regression sessions and go back to a scene, I feel first and I go with the feeling, and then the scene kind of fleshes itself out, but never in like a technicolor thing. I wish I had the visual thing, but I think as an empath, my feeling is the big thing about me. Yeah. So and everybody's different that way. Yeah. So it's cool. Yeah, it is. I think I guided meditation and guided hypnosis, I think, are just so powerful, so super powerful. But you can do it yourself. Yeah. Just make yourself a recording and go back like that. Go back and getting that child. That was my other idea. Was just going back and getting the child. But did you see how powerful it was? Yeah. It brings tears to your eyes. Yeah.
It's amazing how quickly it brings the emotion too. Because it's not even like you have to like get this drawn out reliving of it. It's like the moment that memory happens, you feel
instant. Yeah. Instant.
Which is really interesting to me. And then the other thing was the memory, again, it's like it almost played out like a movie scene. Yeah. But it was like my mom was sitting on the computer, and it was the old Sony computer that we used to have back in the 90s, in like the office room of the house that I grew up in. And, she's just sitting there on the computer, and I'm like in the foyer area. Just trying to get her to notice me, basically, But it was weird because in the scene, I was like the same age as my daughter, Cass. I was like 2 years old. Yeah. And I don't think we had those computers when I was 2. You know what I mean? So it was interesting that scene, whatever it is I was seeing, must have happened later on in life. But I guess the feeling must have come from when I was 2.
Sure.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it's not necessarily going to be chronologically perfect. Yeah. Because I remember reading this, memory is creative. So you can go back, but your brain has changed and your body has changed. You're a totally different person. Like we have a new body every 11 months. Yeah. We make new cells every day of all these different kinds. So we are a completely different person, like physically as we age and all of that. And our mind, but we hold these old memories, so they won't necessarily be exact, but they will. The feeling, the subconscious mind is a feeling mind, so the feeling is what you're after. Yeah. Yeah. So it's hard to ever say, like, oh, let's do a session on confidence. You don't know. You have no idea what's going to come back. No idea.
Yeah, that's a session I definitely would not want to do on camera.
No, usually not. And it just depends on how. Some people resist it. Like I've had people go back to. I mean, my poor own mother. she has all this back pain. So I first time I hypnotized her, I was crying and she wasn't.
Yeah.
And she went back to being in the war and the things she experienced. And she's like, oh, isn't that funny? I haven't thought about that for years. But she's in her 80s.
Yeah.
So she has compartmentalized these memories. She couldn't even really go back to the feeling. And anyone else experiencing these scenes I thought would have cried.
Yeah.
And I've had people be very resistant to expressing the emotion, but that's what it's about.
Yeah.
You had an experience plus an emotion where you made a belief, and that's like frozen in time.
Yeah.
And it's stopping you from, would you ever have thought in a million years that that's what you would go back to in terms of your energy?
No.
Not in a million years,
No,
right?
No.
Yeah. So the subconscious knows, and it's, it's like that iceberg image.
Yeah.
You've got this tip of the iceberg, which is your conscious, where you think
Yeah.
you know everything. And then you have this gigantic iceberg that's like, oh no, you have no idea what I'm going to take you back to. And you could have gone back to like, so many, your mind has a perfect record, or not a perfect record, but it has a record of everything you've ever experienced. So you could have gone back to any one of your memories from your entire life. It just depends on the day. It will be different every day.
Yeah.
But there are certain, imprints, like these initial sensitizing events where some, people go back to over and over for every emotion, every condition, whatever it was, because it was so traumatic that they had like all the emotions and they made like 10 beliefs. And it was this thing that happened that was so traumatic that is frozen in time, and it's stopping them, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years later.
Yeah. Because
it was so painful.
Yeah.
And the subconscious mind has just locked it away.
Yeah.
Thinking it's keeping you safe.
Yeah.
When it's not, again, it doesn't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't know. All it cares about is your safety, your survival. It doesn't care about anything else. It doesn't care about your happiness or your wealth. It's just like, this is safe.
Yeah.
And don't think about this because it's not safe to think about it. And that's why people feel vulnerable.
Wow.
When they go back to these memories, because the emotions come. But that's the strongest thing you can do is go back and feel that vulnerable child.
Yeah.
So as children, we're all vulnerable. And every session I've ever done, every one, I didn't get enough attention.
Yeah.
What are you trying to do? Get your mother's attention.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Yeah.
Every one.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Who would have known that me struggling for some energy right now would have gone all the way back to me feeling like I wasn't worth my mom's energy? You know what I mean?
Well, it's related to energy.
Yeah.
She didn't, again,
If
she's
she
your
wasn't-
role
yeah.
model. She's sitting
I
at
think
the
that's where
computer.
my
Your
brain
mind's like,
was.
hey, we're at the computer.
Yeah.
No energy.
Yeah.
No energy for the kids.
Yeah.
Do you see how it's
Yeah.
our role models? You really got to get in there and dig that stuff out, because you will become just like that person.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be just like that person. You're not
No.
meant to be just like that person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's it's your choice, but God, it's so powerful.
Yeah.
So quick, isn't it, too?
Yeah.
How easy that was.
Yeah.
It's so, your subconscious mind is so powerful.
That.
So powerful.
I have to say that was so cool. I'm like ready to do more sessions. I'm like, let's get going.
It's and that's the thing. You're open to it, and you've noticed some results with Evan, and you're open minded, and you want to do good in the world. So you can't help. But personally, I don't know of anything else that's this powerful. I really don't know of anything else that's this powerful.
Yeah.
There's a guy that does these workshops and has written all these books, and he's wonderful, but I think he had a really good childhood, and like he healed his own back when he was 23.
Wow.
So he's like, yeah, just visualize the future. And it's like, but your mind keeps dragging you back into the past.
Yeah.
And people they get there, but it takes years.
Yeah.
Years.
Oh yeah.
I could not, do a 2-hour meditation every day,
Right.
knowing that 4 years from now I might get the thing. I'm
Yeah.
like, let's erase the past for. You don't erase it; you just remove the emotional charge.
Yeah.
So think about that memory now with your eyes open. How does it feel?
It feels kind of passive.
Neutral,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's the key.
Okay.
When you're now conscious, eyes open, at beta, you think of it again. If you're not feeling sad about it, if you're not feeling angry, frustrated, if all that's gone,
Yeah.
you have removed the emotional charge,
Yeah.
and it just becomes something that happened. That's the key
Yeah.
to everything, because then your mind's like, so what?
Yeah.
Let's go to this one now where you felt angry, you know what I mean? Or we
Yeah.
go to this one where you felt guilty,
Yeah.
you know. So it's almost like cleaning it up. It's like removing the emotional charges one by one. And as you remove those emotional charges, you have more energy, you have more joy, you can live in the moment. Like, I just find myself living in the moment so much more.
Yeah.
Because I've really, and like writing a book about my life, it takes me back into the past, but so many of the emotional charges are gone now.
Yeah.
And it's funny, my mind will bring up a new thing and I'm like, oh God, that's a great thing to put in there, but I get emotional about it. So I'm like, oh no, and now I know on that thing there's still an emotional charge.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think you're ever done removing those, but you can get, the lion's share of it done.
Yeah.
Especially with HypnoFit. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Just all the anger. And then it's cumulative too, like you'll keep releasing. So it's such a good process. So
yeah.
So thank you for agreeing to do that. It was so
yeah,
good.
Absolutely. And for all the people out there who, want to give this a try and want to reach out to you, how can they find you?
So yeah, they can find me. My website is KasiaWeglarz.com. My name is spelled KasiaWeglarz .com, and my email is Kasia@KasiaWeglarz.com. You can find me on Facebook under Kasia Weglarz Transformational Hypnotherapy, and my phone number is 603-254-6716, and you can get a free consultation anytime. Just give me a call, and you can talk about what you want to work on and how it works, and free consultation for absolutely anything. And it's such a great process, and absolutely will. Your mother affects so much of what you do, and this show is about being a mother illuminated. This is, talk about illuminating. What an illuminated scene.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, it's for me, I had so many problems, and this is the only thing that's helped me really, and it's brought me so far, and I'm just thrilled, and I would love to help so many people, and I've already gotten a few referrals, so thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. This has been just a blast.
Yeah.
And hopefully maybe do more in the future if you run out of guests or something.
Yeah.
I know we've done 4 already, so probably not for a while, but yeah, thanks so much. You've been such a great host, and thanks so much for submitting to some hypnosis, because I know it's difficult, but you did great.
No, thank you, first of all, for being on the show. And I will say, so I've had a couple of those people reach out to me that have done sessions with you.
Oh.
And they've always reached out, and they're always like, that was great, that was amazing, like, she's so wonderful.
Aww.
And thank you for, sending me her way. And, so, for all the skeptics out there.
Well, that's
or people that are just looking and don't really know where to go. I think it can be kind of challenging, but, I mean, really everybody that I've known that has seen you has been thoroughly impressed.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think if you find, I know this is at least one of my purposes in life, and I always wanted to do something important. And I haven't had anybody. I think everyone has a result. The only people that haven't gotten, probably the best results they can get, they don't continue with it. Like, they only do the first couple of emotions and then don't follow through. Or they're like, well, all I have is anger. I don't have any of those other ones. So, like, we all have all those emotions. So it is a process, and you do have to have several sessions, but you didn't make, you made your beliefs way in the past, and especially if you had a tumultuous childhood, it takes time to work through that stuff. So, but it's quicker than 4 years of meditation.
Right.
Yeah. You could probably do with hypnosis in 4 months, which you could do with just meditation in 20 years. I mean, I've had people say, I've been meditating my whole life, and this has been more powerful because you're getting guided to something specific, and it's nice to have a guide. Yeah. And I am a good guide. I will give myself that. I'm experienced. I know a lot about the subconscious mind because I'm just fascinated by it, and I would love to. I would just love to go be healed. I
Yeah.
would love to be one of those people, but you know,
Yeah.
this is allowing you to heal yourself.
Mhm.
I'm just a facilitator. I'm just the guide.
Yeah.
So I'm not like, oh, look how great I am. I helped all these people, but
Yeah.
you are doing the work, because I don't know what your memories are.
Yeah.
I'm a guide, and
Mhm.
you've got to be the one to let the emotion and the scene come up. So
Yeah.
I've doing it a while now, so I feel confident. I have friends who are like, oh, I feel so much pressure to get them a result. I'm like, why? You can't get them a result. They're
Yeah.
up to getting the result. I'm just prompting.
Yeah.
I'm just prompting. So it's really, I
Yeah.
mean, it's an important job,
Mhm.
and I do get intuitive hits when I'm working with somebody. So
Yeah.
that's great. But again, everybody has that potential. I've just happened to have developed it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so I would love to help lots of people, because
Yeah.
it'd be a better world.
Yeah.
It's a better world. People are less angry,
Mhm.
less sad, less guilty, and all that. It's
Yeah.
less fear. It's a better world.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, and ultimately, I mean, every single mom I've ever met has always, thrown out the idea that they wish that they could be a better mom than what they had, or a better mom than what they currently are,
Right.
or whatever they believe that they are,
Sure.
and so that's always been, like, I think this kind of a tool is so invaluable, because there's so many things that are holding us back. Like, again, who would have thought that needed more energy would have brought me back to something like that? I never, never would have thought we would have gone there.
You can't predict.
Mhm.
You can't predict. That's why when that woman was like, "Oh, public speaking or confidence," I'm like, I've done sessions like that where gnarly stuff came up.
Yeah.
So yeah, gnarly memories, because your confidence gets shattered when you feel not loved, and can bring up and it's all trauma.
Mhm.
I mean, as a child, you experience pretty much everything as trauma that's not good.
Yeah.
And whether it was the horrible trauma or not so bad trauma, it doesn't your mind doesn't judge. So it's good to just I don't judge anybody. I mean, some people have been like, well, my mother looked away for 5 seconds while she was changing my baby sister, and that means I'm not lovable. And somebody else's scene is so much more horrible.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. The mind made the same belief. I'm not lovable.
Yeah.
This one you think, how could you? Doesn't know.
Yeah.
Doesn't know the difference. So you can't judge. You can't judge. Don't say, oh, well, people come, I had a pretty good childhood. And then we go back to these scenes and I'm like, oh God,
Yeah.
you had no idea, did you?
Yeah.
You forgot all that stuff. Yeah. So it's really powerful.
Yeah.
And it can be a little scary, but it's in there anyway.
Yeah.
Screwing up your life.
Right.
You might as well go back and deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my attitude. I'm like, I finally know why I was the way I was, and now I'm past it. And if we have a plan, we can get you there quicker.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of wrap this up, and people know how to reach out to you. And there's been a number of different videos. So if you liked this one, go back. I think there's 3 other ones that people can check out and kind of learn more about it. We had a lot of really great content, so I was really excited. I can't wait for all of them to get released. Yeah. But in the description box, there will be all the links. But Mothers Illuminated does have a VIP group on Facebook where you can access extra content with the Q&A section of each video. And actually, that's not each video. It's most of the videos, but it's kind of wherever it's relevant. You can be a part of a mother's mentorship program through Facebook as well, early access to all shows, promo code for free shipping on the merchandise website, and a lot of other great stuff in there. It's only $8 monthly with Patreon. And again, the link will be in the description, as well as podcast.mothersilluminated.com, which is our actual website. And that also has the links to all the different things as well. So we have a YouTube channel. If you wanted to be on the show, go ahead and reach out to us at mothersilluminated@gmail.com. And I think that's it. We're all set. So have a great day, Kasia. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, Michelle. You've been